as we're trying to put most of the main features of this book onto a video, and so one of the very core features of developing the English language is to, and Afrikaans, is to go to page 59, pleasant people, which basically those words are taken from, and the words that are in there are the words that students normally are being asked questions about with those words in, and they are asked to actually answer questions with those words in. So it's all about character, descriptions of characters. So what I did there is to write an essay that incorporates all the 64 words that come up every time in the trick, and then allow people to structure sentences around that they can, in actual fact, use it in their vocabulary, in their writing, etc. So I'll give you an example how you use this particular passage. People have different personalities or characters. You can change it by saying women have different personalities and characters. Men have different personalities and characters. Children have different personalities and characters. Or you can use the back of the sentence. I have met people in the world who have different personalities and characters. So you use that in order to study your language development and your sentence structure. Then I translated that into Afrikaans, which is practically identical sentence by sentence. So yes, mense het verskillende persoonlikhede, which is characters, right, and personalities. So you can also increase your Afrikaans by saying kinders het verskillende persoonlikhede, of ek het mense ontmoet met verskillende persoonlikhede. Now if you work through these two essays, you become extremely powerful in presentation of writing, reading, understanding, reading, better reading capacity, as well as expressing yourself verbally better. So what I'm going to do now is to, and this particular topic, aangename mense and pleasant people, deals with two different characters, the bad guy, the good guy. Okay, the bad person, the good person. It's based on the Quran in terms of what Allah expects from us to be like. And so it's using the Western curriculum and reorganizing it into belief structure, because they move away from belief. And that was actually the style of the Arabs when they went over to conquer other countries. They would sit at the feet of the artists and the writers, and they would find out how do they culturalize their people, and then they would, because they believe every community had their own prophet, they would then extract all those things that are against the tawheed of the unity of Allah, and then they replace that in there. And so that's why the art in Islam is so international. It has so many cultures that is brought together in the art form, architecture and the music and the flat art and the book design, etc. Incorporates all the areas that they conquered, and they learned from the people who are artistic and creative. Even the poetry, for that matter. So you get a kind of a sense of how incorporating the Muslims were of the people or the countries that they conquered. And the reason why it spread so fast was because the people knew that when the Muslims take over, they will remove the governments or the rulers that are unfair, and they will replace them with good people like themselves and give people freedom. So people used to want the Muslims to conquer their countries because the people were oppressed. So obviously you find that when Muslims stand for justice, there'll always be people who are unjust, who will try to make it as if the Muslims are the bad guys and then they are the good guys, but it's all the opposite. So in my particular book here, Pleasant People, I allow the reader can now assess we can assess our own character in this particular passage. What kind of person am I? How can I improve myself? So it's not just an English thing, it's about development as well. So then next thing which is interesting is a poem I wrote on page 119, I think. Yes, it's called New Self 119. So I'll be expressing, reading this poem and analyzing it for you. Looking for excuses to stay the same is an inner addictive game. People stay the same, every day is the same, and when you ask them to do something, they always have an excuse. No, I couldn't do it, there wasn't time, or so busy, you know. And every time you make excuses in your mind, you get stuck. So all looking for excuses to stay the same is an inner addictive game. You become addictive that you always make excuse. All only stagnate and dictate the body into a state of immobility to deny creativity. So the reason why we have excuses in our minds about what we couldn't do this, it's us to stagnate, doesn't want us to become creative. So we become immobilized by criticizing and making excuses for what we were supposed to do. Now the next stanza is, all thoughts repeat emotions, causing present mind-body reactions that imitate old experience, shutting out transcendence to create a new self-presence. So what I'm saying is, when you're in your mind all the time, old thoughts, no, I can't do this, and I'm not so good at this. You repeat the same emotions in yourself, and your body tends to think that you are in that same situation. So it reacts because the brain doesn't know that it's not real. Your thoughts, in actual fact, create that kind of our thoughts create a kind of image that the body thinks that we are in that same situation, and so it responds in the same way, and it imitates an old experience, but it's not. There's time has gone by, and this kind of stagnation stops us from transcending, to a higher level of consciousness and being more creative, and to actually create a new self-presence, to really be a different person. So then the next stanza is forgive and forget. In other words, don't carry people that have been good to you in your mind all the time. The situation is done already. You have to wake up and say, it's done already. If you keep that situation in your mind, the other person insulted you, whatever, you're stuck in that particular time. In August, something happened, it's November already, you're still stuck in that time. You're giving more power to old stuff than what you give power to the moment that you have, that you can change. So the stanza said, forgive and forget, just leave it. But whoever didn't do the right thing, forgive them, move on. And that comes from the Quran. Allah says, forgive those who don't look forward to the days of Allah. Allah will say to them, just forgive them, make dua for them, and move on with your life. So forgive and forget stops regret. You don't have regrets anymore. Reducing stress, because regret increases your stress. Now if you don't have less regrets and you forgive and forget, you reduce your stress. The culprit of regress, in other words, stress makes you regress, makes you go backwards. Page 120, habits make us unconscious. Sometimes we do something over and over and over and become unconscious of the moment. Habits make us unconscious to moments grandiose. We're so used to doing the same thing. We don't want to change that moment of doing something new. So something grandiose, something magnificent, We're always just doing the same thing over and over and over. Habits make us unconscious to moments so grandiose. Meditation on creation unlocks new appreciations. Just to be quiet for a minute and just to enjoy the beauty of the sun and the moon and the trees and the stars and the people around us and the different cultures and different things that are beautiful. That meditation, on creation unlocks new appreciation. You are grateful. But this comes from Quran. Allah says, reflect on what I have created you and be grateful, and then I will grant you more. that jolt new actions for unique visualizations. You start doing new things, and you create new visualizations, new things, created features. You fix stuff. You create new things. You use material in a better way, and so your unique visualization, your talent is being presented now in what you do. Now the last stanza is make new choices. In other words, don't go through the same old structure of life, same old day. You're just repeating the same old day. Now Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is related to him, said, if your 2 days are equal, you're a loser. Now we know kids like doing this to us, you're a loser. We must consider the fact that if we are not different every day, then we truly are losers because we haven't taken a new opportunity. So make new choices to have new inner voices. Speak differently to yourself. Don't be so negative. To make us conscious, and new ideas that makes us conscious of ourselves. So precious. Ourself is extremely precious, and we mustn't waste our time. We only live once, and we need to do the best of what we know. I'm going to read the poem again so that there's a flow. New Self by M.F. Arnold. Okay, so you always keep the writer's name after the poem. Okay. Looking for excuses to stay the same is an inner addictive game. All only stagnate and dictate the body into a state of immobility to deny creativity. All thoughts repeat emotions, causing present mind-body reactions that imitate old experience, shutting out transcendence to create a new self-presence. Forgive and forget stops regret, reducing stress, the culprit of regress. Habits make us unconscious to moments so grandiose. Meditation on creation unlocks new appreciations that jolt new actions for unique visualizations. Make new choices that have new inner voices that make us conscious of ourselves, so precious. Okay, shukran. I'm going to end it. I hope it works well. Assalamu alaikum.